Hi, welcome to Freezer Meals 101. I'm Charla.
And I'm Christy. Today we are talking about spring freezer meals. Now listen, if you don't know us, we live in Alberta, in Canada. It is cold here.
Cold.
Now, we've had a pretty mild winter.
Mm-hmm.
We've had a few cold spells. I went to a concert recently. Vance Joy, he's Australian, and his opening act was also Australian, and he said, we've spent 4 days in Edmonton, and I was really nervous about how cold Canada was going to be. He said, actually, it's been great, and I've spent 4 days snowboarding. I got to talk to him after, they hang around at the front of the venue, and I said, you're kind of living the life, snowboarding by day, rock star at night, it was good. Shout out to Jack Botts. Check him out on Spotify. He was good. It was
his opening act, or
he was the opening act for
Okay.
Vance Joy, and it was a really nice concert.
And I've never heard of either of those people.
I bet you if I played Riptide for you, you would know. It's on a ukulele. Both my kids have learned it.
Oh yeah, okay, I would.
And he's the one who talks about you're the closest thing to Michelle Pfeiffer that I've ever seen.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
You would know.
I would recognize a song.
If you don't know, if you're new here, Charlotte is a lyrics person and I am a music person. Like, sometimes we were listening to a Chili Peppers song on the way home and I thought, I don't even know all the words to this song and it's 25 years old. And my daughter was in the back seat singing all the words and I'm like, I know the beat, I probably know the chords. I don't know the lyrics. Isn't that funny?
We are just different.
We are just different.
We are neighbors and besties, and we do freezer meals together, but we have a lot of fun too. We have a supper club together.
Yes, we do.
We go to concerts, but not that often because you're more of a concert person. So really, most of the concerts I've been to in my life have been with Christy.
Oh, that's funny.
It's true.
Oh, that's funny.
And there haven't been that many.
No.
But-
the biggest one was Garth.
Yeah, I love him
We've seen
twice.
Garth twice together. I've seen him 3 times, but...
Me too.
Yeah. Have you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you
in
saw
high
him.
school. Yeah.
Oh, original.
I know. OG.
That's fancy. You're an OG Garth fan. That's so funny.
So spring
Back to
is
spring.
coming.
Spring is coming.
It's here. I mean, it's not here. Like, it's not in Alberta, but it's here technically.
Yeah, on the
tomorrow,
calendar,
right?
it's here.
But in Alberta, it has not yet arrived. Like Christy was saying, we did have a milder winter, but I have to tell you, when people ask like why I would want to live in Alberta, I mean, the true reason is family is here, right? That's why people live in cold, barren places. But the answer that I give people, and I stand by it, is that no, I did live on Vancouver Island, so the weather was much milder, but I've never lived anywhere like Florida, so I don't know for sure. But this is my theory, is that if you don't get to experience like cold, like, I feel it in your bones, kind of minus 40 for a week kind of cold, you don't truly appreciate the warm. That's my theory.
Oh.
And so
Interesting.
I feel like I get so much joy every year that first week of true spring. Like,
Yes.
it's unbelievable.
When you can start going outside without your coat on.
Oh, yeah. And like,
You don't have to warm up your car for a really long time.
people
We're privileged.
drive
We have garages,
with
but
their like windows down
still ridiculously
and
early.
their music blaring, and it's like, you know how at Christmas people in stores are friendlier, or not, but I mean usually, right? They're friendlier and there's like this joy that goes around. In Alberta in the spring, it's the same thing.
It is. Or you go for a walk around in your neighborhood and like it's the first really beautiful day you've had in a while and all the neighbors are out and you're like, hey, how was your winter? We
Yes.
hibernate during the winter and then we come back out in the spring. And I appreciate the 4 seasons. I don't love winter. Summer is definitely my favorite season, but I appreciate winter. I've lived here my whole life, so it just is what it is. And like you, I'm here for the family, but I've said this before, I'm a farm girl. So I appreciate the prairies.
Yeah, you love the prairies.
I do love the prairies. And we're close to the mountains, and it is...
And I love the mountains.
We love the mountains. So it's all the things. But Springtime in Alberta, which is a song that you should look up.
Okay.
There's Ian Tyson wrote a song called Springtime in Alberta,
Okay.
and you will appreciate the lyrics.
I'm going to look that up.
And he passed
after
away recently.
this.
Like, it's an
Oh,
old song.
Okay.
An old country song. And then there's 2 other Alberta songs. Both are called Alberta Bound. One is by Gordon Lightfoot, so it's a very old song, and it
Okay.
is just it's mellow, and it's a I don't know the word for it. It's chill. It's a chill song.
Chill. Okay.
The other one is Paul Brandt.
Oh, I know the Paul Brandt one, and when we went on a road trip with 6 of our
when
kids,
we're coming up to the Sweetgrass side.
totally. You play it, and it's just like, it's glorious.
Yes, it is. So you understand. We love being from here. It has its drawbacks, but there's a lot of pluses from being here.
For me, one of the biggest pluses is that first week of spring. Like, it makes the winter worth it. And it's kind of like in our life, because we have some kids with special needs and whatever, we have had really, really hard times. And so I kind of equate it to the same thing. It's like you appreciate the sweetness of like the good
times
when you have had to go through really hard, right? And so that's how I feel about spring.
Oh,
it's
that's
like
so nice.
I get to feel that joy, and I wouldn't have felt it the same way if I just lived like in Florida. So, and I would have hurricanes. But we love our Florida viewers, and we like to visit.
We do like to visit. I had a Florida visitor a few years ago. My husband put we have an acreage, so we have lots of room. He put our name up for adventure travelers. If people were passing through, they could come and camp on our property free of charge. They could come have a shower. We'd feed them a few meals and send them on our way. And we have met some really great people doing that. One guy was from Australia, another guy from Michigan, but this guy, he was from Florida. I don't remember. His name was Mike. Doesn't matter. He got there before we were home from whatever we were doing. It was supper club. Okay. We were at supper club, and he texted and said, "I'm here. I think I'm at the right place." Da da da. We pull in, and he's like, "Guys, listen. I have palm trees in my backyard, but you live in paradise." And I thought, what a compliment. He just appreciated our space, and it was a beautiful green summer, like June morning, or June evening rather. And
he might not have said the same had he been here on one of those minus 40 days, let's be fair.
He might not have.
But it is beautiful here.
Gosh, it's a beautiful
We
place
should
to
work
live.
for Tourism Alberta.
We should. We should.
Because we're like, come on, visit.
We'll get to the meals, I promise. We're here to talk about freezer meals, and these are spring freezer meals because we're not doing winter soups today.
No,
we've
got plenty of that in
exciting,
winter.
light, tasty,
and like happy
summer, happy spring meals.
The first one that we're going to do, and I'm purposely choosing it first because Christy just said that we're not doing soups, and it's a lemon lentil soup.
It is definitely not a winter soup.
No, it's not. It is fresh and bright, and lemon just makes me think of spring.
Totally. Totally. It's like rebirth.
Zippy.
It's zip.
Yes.
You bet.
And so in our large freezer bag, we're going to add a diced onion, some diced peeled carrots, some celery, but I am allergic to celery, so in the bag that we make for my house, we're not going to add celery. In the bag that we make for Christy's house, we do add celery. Then we're going to add some garlic that's minced. We use the large jar of minced garlic that's already minced for you because we just make so many meals and go through it pretty quickly. So we find that that saves a bit of time for us. Then some red pepper flakes, cumin, green lentils, vegetable broth, salt, and pepper. Now I know I said lemon and there's no lemon, but stick with me. You're going to get all the excess air out of that freezer bag because you don't want freezer burn, and that's what causes that. And then you're going to seal it and freeze it. on the day you go to cook this, you're gonna thaw it and then transfer it to your slow cooker for 4 to 6 hours on low. Now, if you want, you can run an immersion blender through this. Christy has sometimes texture.
I have sometimes texture issues with lentils. So I find if I blend it up and make it really smooth, I like it a lot better.
And then right just towards the end of cooking, you're gonna add 3 tablespoons of lemon juice before you serve it, and that's gonna add that brightness and freshness, and it's gonna be a really nice spring soup.
I agree. So continuing on with the lemon theme, this is one of my all-time favorite recipes. We actually have a favorites of 2022 that we did a while ago.
Ooh, I'll put that video.
Sure. There's a link for you. It's lemon pepper chicken. It's super simple, so just hang in there with me. You can start it with your chicken breasts or boneless, skinless chicken thighs if that is your jam. We're gonna add a whole 1/4 cup of lemon juice. There is a lot in here. Some minced garlic, some lemon pepper, cayenne pepper to give it a little bit of a zip, and we're gonna mix that all in our freezer bag, seal it up, and lay it flat to freeze. Now, this recipe is 5 ingredients or less. It will take you 2 minutes or less to put it together, as long as you have all of your stuff laid out. And it is one of the tastiest meals that we have for being so simple. It's wonderful. You can cook this in your oven, you can cook it in your skillet, you can do this on the barbecue. It does make a nice marinade as it thaws. And if you're going to do it in the oven, I just cover it, put it in for about an hour, and then uncover it for that last 10 minutes. It's at 350. If you're doing it in the skillet, you just want it on medium high, and you want it cooked through, turning occasionally so it browns nicely on both sides. Chicken is cooked when it's got an internal temperature of 165 degrees Fahrenheit. So make sure that it's fully cooked. And then barbecue cooking, you would just, again, do it on your medium heat, medium high heat, and you want to just make sure that that 165 is reached internally. And this is fantastic for spring. It is bright, it's fresh, it's tasty, it's all the things.
And we're gonna put the link for that recipe in the description down below.
For sure.
Okay, now this next recipe, I had to convince Christy to try it. So it's new to both of us, and I chose it because I felt like spring is Easter and Easter is ham. So that's how my brain got there.
Okay.
And I had heard about it and thought of making it a few times in the past, but at this last mega session that we just did, where we made over 130 freezer meals, we made this, and it is called Ham It Up Spaghetti, which is like a fun name.
So fun.
But Christy's not convinced. So once she tries it, she's
not
gonna be
eaten
sold.
it yet.
Yeah.
You have to sell me on this one. I'm curious.
Okay, so for this one, everything that you need for your full meal is going to be made ahead of time. So it's just going to be a reheat, which is really nice for those busy days. A lot of our pasta recipes, we will just make the sauce, and then we'll cook the pasta on the day of serving. For this one, we are going to cook the pasta ahead of time, but there's a trick when you're freezer cooking. You want to undercook your pasta slightly so that it doesn't get mushy on the day that you serve it, because you are reheating it, and then it's going to cook a little bit more. So you're going to undercook some spaghetti.
Now, can we add a little asterisk here? If you are cooking gluten-free pasta, cook it on the day of and add it in. Gluten-free pasta doesn't freeze nicely, and it will go mushy.
Yeah.
And so you did gluten-free in this house for a really long time, and we've had viewers mention it in comments of like, hey, it doesn't work for gluten-free, so we just wanted to put it out there.
Yes, thank you.
You know, just if you didn't know, gluten-free pasta, cook it fresh on the day that you're going to use it.
You're gonna cook your spaghetti, drain it, undercook that a little bit, drain it, and then you're going to toss together your spaghetti with some diced ham, onions, and cheese. Then in another bowl, you're gonna stir together some cream of chicken soup, sour cream, dry mustard powder, seasoning salt, and Worcestershire. Then you're going to, once that's mixed together, put that in with your spaghetti mixture. Now this is one that we're going to make in a bowl before transferring it to the freezer bag. We don't do that very often, but for something that's this large and this like kind of bulky, we want to make sure it gets well mixed. So then you're going to take some breadcrumbs and butter, combine that together and put that in a medium-sized bag. Once you get the air out of your bags and seal them, you're going to staple the bags together above the seal, because then you'll have everything you need for the day of cooking. On the day of cooking, you're going to thaw this and you're going to top it with your breadcrumb mixture before baking it at 325 for 45 minutes. So I get that Christy's not sold yet, and unfortunately, we haven't actually tried it.
No. Now that I have heard the ingredients, because I originally only had just the title.
Yes, true.
Back before I did freezer meals, I had a recipe. I call it the Tracy special because sometimes we would go to my friend Tracy's house and she would make this. And it was spaghetti with cream of chicken soup. She would add chopped chicken, which isn't totally different, except it's chicken and ham. This is a little bit more involved, a little more exciting, a few more ingredients like the dry mustard and the cream, the sour cream. She added spinach to it.
Okay, you could do that.
You could do that here. And she added bacon, which is just another kind of ham.
Totally.
So it ended, and it's a nice one because you can stretch it or shrink it. Like if you have extra people show up for supper, all of a sudden you just throw in a little bit more spaghetti and another can of soup and you're good to go. So this isn't unlike that. Totally. I feel much better about it in my mind now.
Okay.
Because I haven't tried it yet, but the ingredients make it more palatable to me. And the breadcrumbs business, like the sprinkling and the...
Yeah, it's a real casserole.
I think...
It's going to be good, right? And you could add frozen peas into this too to make it a little more spring.
You could. Hand in hand with lemon is dill.
Totally.
This dill salmon, again, super easy. We have made it a ton of times. Like, I mean, years and years.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
It has been a staple for us for a very long time. This is dill salmon. You start it with your salmon fillet and you want to make sure you take your pin bones out. We cut ours in advance. You can put it in your bag whole and just let it roll up in there. But we do cut ours in advance into serving sizes so that every part of it has a chance to marinate.
Yeah.
And it fits in the bag nicer. It lays flatter. We're going to add in a separate bowl the sour cream, some mayonnaise, which you don't see often in freezer meals. Mayonnaise isn't known for freezing really well, but it's mixed in with the sour cream. It doesn't separate. It does really well in this. Some dill, if you have fresh dill, bonus, because spring, dill is one of the first things that, early summer. Dill is one of the first things that you can really get a hold of and start using right away. And you can use it all summer from the same plant.
And I have an indoor herb garden, and so I have dill all year round.
Yes, that is very nice. We're also going to add in some minced garlic, some lemon juice, of course, and put all of these dump all of that into your freezer bag after you've mixed it around there, and get all your excess air out, seal it up. For cooking this, you can just do it on a cookie sheet in your oven. I like to do foil lined. It cleans up. Makes your cleanup a little bit easier. But you could do parchment paper. You could do whatever. Typically, at 400, you would want to cook it for 20 minutes per inch of your salmon. So if it's super thick, you might need a little bit more time. You just want it to flake nicely.
Yeah, and this is another one that you could do on the barbecue because, again, when it gets to be that time of year where it's really funny here in Alberta, I'll give you this little tidbit if you're not from here. We start using our barbecues when there's still snow on the ground. Like, it's warm, but all the snow hasn't melted, especially when you live in the country like we do and you get like, you know, very, very deep snow.
Sure.
And so you can see snow, and so we're out there, like maybe you're wearing shorts. I'm not even joking. You might be wearing shorts and boots even.
And
like
boots.
because you're standing in the snow, right? And you see this here. Like people are standing with their barbecue.
If it's mild enough and you can barbecue throughout the winter, you sometimes will have a shovel, like a path shoveled to the barbecue.
Yes.
But you're right, totally out there in shorts and boots. Kind of funny, but we do it. And
I know it must look ridiculous.
The salmon doesn't care.
No, totally. So, you know, that's a good one.
It is.
Okay, this next one, you have to take a little trip in my brain to understand why I think of it as a spring freezer meal, but just stick with me, okay?
We're going on a journey in Charlotte's brain. I'd like you to buckle up and keep all appendages inside the carpet.
Okay, so this is our spinach sausage pasta bake. Now, spinach is springy, so that's fine.
Definitely.
Sausage is a little bit heavy, so it's not traditionally what you would think of with spring. There's some tomato in here, which is also like some zip and color, and you know, and like the spinach and the tomato, that's color, so that's springy. Because like, look, I'm wearing my
very colorful today.
I borrowed this from my daughter, but like flowers and spring, and you have flowers.
I have flowers.
And, you know, we are very seasonal today. But why I chose this is because you make it with bow tie pasta, and to me, bow tie pasta looks like butterflies. Look at the look on her face.
You know, you are not wrong. And I'm glad I went on that little trip with you. Carry on. Tell us how to make this.
Okay. And then when you're eating this, now that I've shared this trip in my brain
you're
with
eating
you,
little butterflies.
you're going to be thinking like spring and butterflies and happy, and you're going to be feeling joyful because it's butterflies. We don't think about eating butterflies, though, because we don't want to do that. But anyway, okay.
They're stretching recipes, and then they are stretching recipes. No, it is a good one. I wouldn't have necessarily put it in the spring category, but now that you've explained the butterfly theory, I'm in.
You're on board.
Let's hear about it.
The flavors in this are awesome. Again,
It
not
is so good.
springy, but like it's so good.
You could eat this any time of year.
I'm wishing that I had more of these in my freezer right now. But anyway. And this is another one where we're going to make it in a bowl, just because with that pasta, it's easier to mix it in a bowl first and then transfer it to a freezer bag. But this is so nice to have because everything is already done, cooked, and it's just a reheat. Great for busy weeknights. So once you have your little butterfly pastas all cooked and drained, you have those in your bowl, you're going to add some ground Italian sausage. Our family likes the spicy variety. Christy's family likes the mild, so we always make her bags with the mild and mine with the spicy. Then you're gonna add some diced onion, minced garlic, some Italian-style plum tomatoes that are drained, some heavy cream, because milk does not freeze well. Heavy cream freezes beautifully, and so this will not separate on you. And then some spinach that is sliced and cut into strips. For some of our recipes, we say you can go ahead and use already frozen spinach. This is one that I would really recommend using the fresh spinach for, and especially because we're talking spring and fresh and lovely. And it's got green, which again is like, you know, new life and plants and flowers and yes, all the things. So you're going to mix it all together, put that in your freezer bag. On the day you go to make this, you're gonna thaw it, dump it in your greased casserole dish, cover it with lid or foil, bake it at 350 for 40 minutes, and it's kind of your whole meal. Like you could put a salad with this, but it's got spinach in there, it's got tomatoes, so you have some veggies and onion. So
yeah, no, it's good, and it's always a hit. Like it's something that you can feed a crowd, and everybody will like it. It really
Absolutely.
is. And it's not a ton of spinach. Like even the non-vegetable people
Yeah.
will be okay with it. I think so. This recipe is salsa verde fish tacos. Again, verde means green.
Yes.
Very springy. And fish is kind of a spring dish, I would say for sure, because it's lighter, it's not heavy like a steak or, it's... Yep. In our bag, we're going to start out with some white fish. We say tilapia in the recipe, but really you could use it interchangeably. There's also basa. We often will use snapper and cod. All of that works for these fish tacos. You're going to add some salt and pepper. Right in on top of it, in the bag, you're going to add in your salsa verde, which is the green, crushed pineapple, which is as fresh as it gets, and some minced garlic. You're going to seal it up and put it in your freezer. Now, you could, if you need to, you could put your soft shell tacos and staple it right to the bag so that you don't have to think about shopping for that item on the time, because your tortillas can freeze, just so you know. If you are hard shell people, you'll have them in your pantry. On the day of cooking, you want to bake it in an oven. Really, it won't take long. It's a tender fish, 10 or 12 minutes, or you could do it in a skillet and just cook it up until it flakes nicely. You're going to put it in your taco and serve it with other toppings. So you could add in lettuce or cabbage or a bag of coleslaw, if not the whole bag, but you could use coleslaw instead of cabbage. You can add diced tomatoes, green onions, purple onions, mango or pineapple salsa, shredded carrots, regular salsa, pico de gallo, the list goes on. I'll keep going. Jalapenos or serrano peppers, cilantro. Now, I am not a super cilantro lover, but sometimes cilantro belongs in things, and this is one of them. So if you have it, chop and add your cilantro. Avocados, guacamole, cojita cheese, black beans, corn, hot sauce, chipotle mayo, which is one of my favorites to put on, and fresh lime. Wow, these are really versatile.
And once you add your favorites of that list of toppings, this becomes even more spring.
Yeah, it really does.
Super fresh. And there's a grocery store near us where they always have like fresh fruit salsas, like mango or pineapple, depending kind of what's in season. And you can just get these little containers of it, and it's really nice to like freshen that up. Then when you add some fresh cilantro, if you like it, don't if you don't, or some guacamole or avocado, like this is so fresh. Yeah. And this is just going to like be another reminder to you, like spring is really here.
Spring is here.
And I'm kind of at the point where I don't really care that it's still cold outside and we're still in below freezing temperatures,
because
I've decided it's spring. Yeah, it's on its way. I'm often going out without a jacket, just kind of in protest of the below freezing temperatures.
Yeah. And I mean, as Canadians, we kind of do those things anyway. You can't fill up your gas at the gas station, even if it's 40 below, without seeing somebody wearing shorts. It really...
Totally. Yes.
It really is a thing. We all know, we all have that person in our life that wears shorts every single day of the year. But spring is here. Enjoy, it just makes you want to eat fresh things, and this is a great way to do it.
It's so... One of our daughters, the other day, we went out, and she wore shorts, sandals, and no socks with her sandals. And I was like, that's pushing it a little far. And she was like, Mom, I'm just done with winter. Fair.
That's fair.
So she has always been that one, though, that can run barefoot on the snow and not seem to be affected by it.
Or the gravel, or on the pavement. She'll show up at my house without shoes, and it's like, hey.
Sensory processing disorder at its finest.
Fun. We're lucky she has clothes on half the time.
Now that she's older, that's not as much of an issue.
That's not a problem anymore.
She was little. But true story, you know.
It's true.
Christy's been my neighbor forever and ever and ever. So we've watched each other's kids grow up, and
we kind of have, and
they've been raised like cousins, and
pretty much.
Yeah.
This is true.
Sometimes it's like, is so-and-so over there?
Yeah, I'm missing one. We usually track them down. It's all good.
Yeah, so this is spring in your freezer. which becomes spring in your tummy.
Oh,
We're a little bit silly today
we'll put
because
that on an apron.
spring's coming, and I told you it brings me joy.
It does. It does. Now we're a little bit giddy. So now we're gonna have to eat some of these fish tacos.
I'm going to be doing some wishful thinking here, and I'm gonna put a video right there to some chicken marinades that you can barbecue because summer is also coming.
It's true. If spring is coming, well, spring is here. So is summer. Enjoy those.
So thank you so much for joining us, learning a little bit more about freezer meals and winter and spring in Alberta.
It's
Canada.
True. It is true. And check out some of the songs we mentioned. It will make you feel very springy.
Happy cooking.
Bye.